Thank God I did not have the money he has when I was his age. I'll be a total mess. Steal from all that. Because I know me. Some of y'all need to humble yourselves and remember what you were like in your early 20s. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rediscovering Masculinity. I am Maxwell Ezanivi, and today, as you could tell from the thumbnail, we're talking about Zion Williamson and all that has been going on lately coming into light. His private life. And first of all, I'm not here to bash this brother. I'm not here to call any names, look down on anybody, to judge him. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I was in his shoes, I would be right where he was, if not worse. Or right where he is now, if not worse than that. Because I remember how horny and lustful I was in my early 20s. How I wanted to just bag the females, bag the ladies. I wanted that big time in my 20s. Thankfully, I was not good at sports to the point where I could enter the NBA or, NFL would have been my sport. I was not good enough to enter the NFL to where then they will give me millions of dollars. Now, the millions of dollars didn't give me, or didn't, let me say it this way. Because of the millions of dollars, there are individuals that are attracted to that money. There's certain ones who want to live a certain lifestyle, and they are drawn to that money. They're drawn to get that money. They're out there, thousands of them. So here he is, a young black man. And I said that for a reason. We're going to get into that in a second. A young black man with millions of dollars at his disposal and females everywhere throwing themselves at him. I can only imagine. And I thank God that I was not the one, or I'm not the one going through this. I'm praying for the brother. And I hope he gets the help he needs and gets all these things resolved. First of all, what I'm going to say is, yes, he is responsible. He is wrong. He is living wildly and out of control and needs to calm himself down. I'm not going to sit here and blame others for his decisions, but I want to point out some things that I think fueled this lifestyle. When I was young, my parents barely talked about sex. Only thing I knew about sex was it was a sin, it was bad, it was evil. That's all they said about it. But when I was watching TV, not that, there was necessarily pornographic material on cable networks, but, when they had nice tight clothes on and, they were a little revealing, all that looked good to me. All that looked like enticing, and I wanted that. From the music videos to, the TV shows, all that. There was still stuff, back in the 90s. That's 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 when I was watching TV for the most part, back in the late 90s. My goodness. It's funny now because I was looking at this cat. He was born in 2000. And I think I graduated high school in 2000. That's just crazy. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. At that time in my life, nobody was really talking about sex like that, except for hip hop, which is still going on till today. And the reason I said black man for him earlier is because a lot of black youth, we are being trained, we are being reared by hip hop culture. And then we want to blame the man. Racism is still an issue. Racism is a big issue in many cases. Maybe not that big, but it's still an issue, yes. But a lot of what we're going through in the black community, our men are failing us. The men who are leaders are failing us. Hip hop is a huge market. There's a lot of leaders. And I'm going to do the quote unquote leaders. It's not because they're real leaders, but it's because they have the platform. It's because they have the lyrics, they have the tunes, and all the things, the swag that we like about these people. So now we have put them on the pedestal to lead us, and most of them are only talking about filth, from drugs to gang life. But in this case, we're talking about our women, females, sex. And a lot of these lyrics don't speak too well about our women. A lot of times they're just here for one thing and one thing only. And this is glorified over and over and over and over and over again. And then a kid graduates. Well, let's say he graduated high school. He didn't graduate university just yet because I believe he only spent a year at Duke. But he goes into the NBA with this culture and has millions of dollars and all these females coming at him. What do you think is going to happen? Now, I'm not putting the blame on other people because this is a grown man. He made his own decisions. But we're not going to sit here and say that all these other things didn't have effect on him. I mean, I know the parents are there, but sometimes the parents can say all they can say, and you still gonna do what you're gonna do. I remember when I was young, my mom drilled into me about finances. Save your money. Do this, do that with your money. Don't just spend it. But because we grew up poor and I had a little bit of change working at Publix, I wanted to look fly because for the most part, we shopped at the thrift stores. And I got basically hand-me-downs my whole life. So when I started working and getting money, I wanted to look fly and impress you folks. And then when I left the house, got into the military and all that, that same attitude continued. But my parents tried. They tried their best when it came to teaching me, educating me about finances. And it took me a while after that to even get a hold of that, to really catch that for me. And we even see that in the sports, in sports recently. I know Antoine, I think it's Antoine Walker. Yeah, he played for Boston and a couple other teams, but shortly after he was done, he filed for bankruptcy. And it's like everybody was like, "Oh, what? How you bankrupt when you had all these millions? When you don't understand money management, you're gonna go bankrupt, even if you had billions. If you don't understand money management, you're gonna lose everything because you think it's gonna be there. It's like you just lose your mind somehow because money answers, or let me not say that. Money makes you feel good to an extent, of course, but money makes you feel good as well because you can buy this, you can buy that, and it might be temporary and fleeting. But hey, I got the money, and I can flash and do all these things or whatever. You know what's funny? It's not funny, but it was kind of crazy because I never really been to a strip club. I went one time in Mexico. I don't even know how you just got into that. But I went one time in Mexico, and we only stayed like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And that's a topic for another day. That was a wild night even. But never really been to a strip club. So, but you see them. They're at the strip club. They got to show that they got the money, and that's another place you got to show you got money. You go and get, and then some people got that gun now. You just spraying money. But this is what we come to understand about money, because the culture, again, another thing that the culture shows is they just throw money away because they got so much of it they can just waste it. I can't do that working at Publix making $25 an hour. But you lose yourself in the culture. You lose yourself in the attractiveness of what looks so good. So all that to say, I don't know what his parents taught him. They probably taught him, these things or whatever. But the streets, maybe even not the streets, but the culture and what looks good pulled him in. And here we are. I can't blame this man for doing what he did. Some of us get wiser earlier. Some of us get wiser way later. Like, again, with the finance with Antoine Walker, he's learned his lesson. At least I hope he's learned his lesson. And here we are now. I believe he's not a, what do you call it? An anchor, a sports anchor now on one of these networks, either Fox or ESPN. I'm not sure which one. And I'm sure he's being wiser with his money than when he was in the NBA. Because money is so fleeting, man. People don't even understand. Because people say, man, if I had $1 million, I'd be set for life. Man, you know how quick $1 million will go away? You know how fast $1 million can vanish? You don't even have a clue. So let's not act as if this kid is the worst kid ever. He's not the first one to do it. He sure won't be the last. Thank God I did not have the money he has when I was his age. I'll be a total mess still from all that. Because I know me. And some of y'all need to humble yourselves and remember what you were like in your early 20s. My parents didn't talk about it much, but my friends introduced me to it. My first time was because of my friends. I think I just graduated high school. But You weren't a man until you had some. You know, you couldn't say nothing until you was getting some. So they got me some so I could be a man. It was all a lie, but it sounded good. And boy, did it feel good. That's not the men we're trying to raise. We're trying to raise strong, charactered men. And this is one of the reasons for this channel, one of the reasons for this podcast is to help men understand. Listen, there's examples out here. There's examples upon examples out here about how our lust, our pride, our greed is killing us. You have to learn to master these feelings and not let them lead or guide you, because it's going to guide you into mess. It's going to guide you into situations you don't want to find yourself in. I don't want to be on Twitter or any platform and I got a picture of me and a porn star next to me. And then two other females come out as well and talking about, this one is like talking about they're pregnant. This is a mess. I don't want any man to go through that. This is uncomfortable. But I'm praying, man, that this boy, gets through this. This man, rather, gets through this and doesn't make the same mistake again. It's going to be hard because there's a lot of washing of the mind that needs to take place. A lot of renewing of the mind that needs to happen. And I pray that it does happen for this young man. But this is not just for him. For everyone out there, if you're fighting feelings like this, because some people will like, it's okay to point. It's okay to point. It's okay to look at this dude and be like, hey, you there. You are such a mess. You are such a sinner and blah, blah, blah. It's like we forget we can be the same way, like easily. If we were in his shoes, we'll be messed up. So, man, don't judge this man. Pray for him. And if you're out there and you need, someone to talk to about some of the things you're struggling with, and I know the focus was kind of on the sexual side, but I kind of touched on money a little bit. And then there are other things, alcohol, gambling, whatever, whatever it is. If you're struggling, man, I encourage you, connect with me. My email is rediscoveringmasculinity@gmail.com. But I know a lot of you don't know me, so that's cool. Find somebody you know, find somebody you trust, and start talking to them about these things. This is important conversation. This is freedom conversation. We've been bound for a long time. We do these things in the closet. We do these things in the dark. We do these things privately. But as we know, what's done in the dark eventually comes to light. I pray you get the help you need so that when the dark places are exposed, you can say, yeah, I messed up here, I messed up there, but this is my life now. This is the path I'm on now. Because who knows who still got receipts from your dark moments and are ready to show it. Y'all be blessed, man. And again, don't let the feeling, don't let the lust, don't let the desire, the addiction drive you. Fight, man. I'm fighting too. I'm fighting too. I'm telling you right now, I am fighting. You're not the only one fighting. Keep fighting. Don't let these things rule you. Because I said in the first episode, now you become slave to them instead of mastering yourself, disciplining yourself. I'll talk to you all another time. It'll be easy. God bless.